we very well actually acknowledge that some of these forums are must to have in current days when the technology is moving at this pace. Unless we have forums like this, I think that multiplier effect will not be there.
That technology is still not able to address. So, do you think when it comes to empowering women in tech could be one of the main challenges as well?
Traditionally, right, the way a woman will have exposure, that will always go as a secondary, right? So first reach will obviously be with a different group and then it will reach to women. So obviously it is still far, it still has a gap, it still has a void. I do take out time whenever I get an opportunity to interact with some of these groups so that they can aspire, they can see what is in store for them, right? And sky's the limit. They can aspire, they can achieve.
Welcome to the second edition of Emerge Tech, the Multi-City Roadshow brought to you by the Mainstream. I am Simran Shiwalkar, your host for today, and I have with me a true wonder woman in tech, Ms. Preeti Jalla Razdan. Being a true wonder woman in tech with visions and bold ideas, she is an Associate Vice President at Infosys. Ma'am, thank you once again for being a part of this conference and joining us today.
Absolutely, and it was a pleasure being.
The pleasure is totally ours as well. And with that being said, you have been in the technology space for a long period of time. With your dynamic experience, if you could tell us a bit about your experience in today's conference, and you've also moderated a panel based on Wonder Woman in Tech Icons Emerge. If you could throw some light on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Really proud of this forum, and I learned it that CR.com now has rebranded itself as the Mainstream. So I feel the name is apt, and it brings really a very good focus on technology. It assembles very good set of audience. And yeah, I was part of a panel. I was one of the panel members. I really enjoyed doing it. I really enjoyed being part of interaction with the audience as well. That shows how well we are actually reaching out and assembling this community together. And we very well actually acknowledge that some of these forums are must to have in current days when the technology is moving at this pace. Unless we have forums like this, I think that multiplier effect will not be there. And it is must to have that we have people who we can reach out, the people with whom we can network, people with whom we can learn. At times we are a mentor, at times we are getting mentored, right? So there's something like right now we had a team based over here, and it was so much insightful to hear from him what's happening in the wider world, because at times we are into our shell, whatever you say, right? And when we go out and see that this is what it is, this is what is the end part of it, this is what it is, the area where we need to scale, right? And we are still not in those points, right? While we feel with digital transformation and all, but how to do it in the smaller ways so that you can have a wider social impact. So Mr. Jay Shankar was here and he so nicely quoted some of those examples. I think that was the eye-opener, right? And these are some things where I think we need to see as communities, as organizations, as professionals, particularly technology professionals, we have to have that reach out. We'll see how we can do that wider impact through our knowledge, through our experience, and solve that end goal problem which is over there and which will have a wider impact and which can help you scale. So I really love it. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe, for sharing your experience and one of kind words. And taking cue from, you just said that technology is there and we are witnessing digital transformation, but there are still small challenges or there's a gap that technology is still not able to address. So, do you think when it comes to empowering women in tech could be one of the main challenges as well?
Well, yeah, absolutely. See, I'm a person who sees always the positive side of it. But that doesn't mean that I should not be acknowledging that still, overall, if you see, the conversation was on a digital voice, so it is certainly there. We still have to reach to that customer. In that as well, if you see, traditionally, right, the way a woman will have exposure, that will always go as a secondary, right? So first reach will obviously be with a different group and then it will reach to women. So obviously it is still far, it still has a gap, it still has a void.
That technology is still not able to address. So, do you think when it comes to empowering women, it could be one of the main challenges as well?
Yeah, absolutely. See, I'm a person who sees always the positive side of that. Doesn't mean that I should not be acknowledging that still, overall, if you see, the conversation was on a digital voice, so it is certainly there. We still have to reach to that class more. In that as well, if you see, traditionally, right, the way our women will have the exposure, that will always go as a secondary, right? So first reach will obviously be with a different group and then it will reach to women. So obviously it is still far, it still has a gap, it still has a void, which we have to do consciously to reach out and make it happen. Make it happen through conversations like these, because awareness first thing is very important. Before that, acknowledging is very important. If you acknowledge, you make things, in the forum like this, have a conversation, then it is more of doing the awareness part of it. And then I think we have to have that last mile reach, which will need efforts to make, personal attempts or organization attempts or society attempts to really reach out to women and enable them through skilling, make them part of some of these forums, conversations, technology interventions, in whatever role they are in, with whatever background they come, because there are wide industries which are there, right? It's not only about the IT services or the small group which is doing technology. Pretty much technology is being done by anybody. The person who is selling on the roadside is also doing technology, right? And I get amazed the way actually people adopted technology in terms of doing these transactions. So much of openness is there, and I see that really well across at a scale in India. So that gives me a lot of positivity to it, that we can do it. So from there we have to start and see how we can scale, how we can give the right exposure to some of our girls who are there in the colleges and the schools. I do take out time whenever I get an opportunity to interact with some of these groups, so that they can aspire, they can see what is in store for them, right? And sky's the limit. They can aspire, they can achieve, right? It's just that they have to think about it and go for it, be there, don't lose on their passion, right? And then we have to see there are people who are at a good exposure around this, but then they have to see how they can become the role models, how they can move upwards, right? So in that way, how can they be more skilled? They can be the forefront of some of these transformations, be the role models, be the leader for tomorrow, right? And be the mentors who can further show the way out to the next generation. And that's where I think this cycle will get formed and things will fall in place. But yeah, a lot to be done. I agree, a lot is to be done. But I think there is a good positive movement which is happening, and we have to just keep the focus on.
Absolutely. And lastly, any key recommendations or a word of advice for women wanting to make their mark in the technologic space?
Yeah, with my experience, whatever I talk about, I feel be passionate about what you're doing. Don't lose the passion. I really believe in that. Passion, but with a purpose. That is the key part of it, right? Somebody helped us to be here. It could be anybody in the personal capacity, the professional capacity. We hold the responsibility to do it, right? And that's how the cycle will happen. That's the one. Another is there will be phases where things may not go really good. There will be phases where we feel that maybe we are failing, or maybe it's not working out, things are not happening. That is the time you have to hold it even more tight. Then you have to keep that passion on. Phase will go, and believe me, you will come with a double energy, you'll thrive more. So that is what will be my personal experience and suggestions, what I would say, in which you have. So don't get bogged down about it. Don't get that, okay, I was not perfect over here, and so either I can do this or I can do that. I think you're doing wonderfully well. Continue doing it. Just show. That's the important part.
Like you said, so I must Razdan, thank you once again for sharing this invaluable piece of advice with all the women and across our audience today. I think passion with purpose is the mantra for today, especially for women who wish to lead.
And I'll add one more point to it, given you asked me this question, and which always I feel you might have moments which you feel are negatively wired. I feel at times that gives me more energy. So try that option. I think take the energy from that and go on. I think you will on with a double speed. So these are the moments which gives you more opportunity. So see it not like a failure, not as a negative thing. I think that's an opportunity, the source of opportunity to bounce back.
Absolutely. So I think turning your challenges into opportunities is the key. But thank you once again, Ms. Razdan. It has been incredibly insightful and inspirational for me. And while we conclude the session, I definitely look forward to connecting with others.
Wonderful. I mean, I love the forum and I love interacting with you. Many more forums to you, many more such sessions to you. I know you are going cities to cities now, and I am so very happy personally that you guys are doing so very well. And all the best to you. More power to you guys.
Thank you so much. And I think the motivation comes from leaders like you. So thank you once again for being a part of this stage.
Thank you so much.